Hello everyone, this is DashFight from Red Bull Golden Letters, and today we're joined by the greatest American player ever, Anakin. Hello.
Hello, how's everybody doing? How are you doing today?
We're quite fine, thank you. Let's just start jumping into the questions. So Red Bull Golden Letters format is quite unique. Uh, you can win in additional ways, and there are some additional rules. Do you feel like you need to adapt your game to accommodate for this, or are you just playing your own game?
Ooh, that's a very interesting question because I remember last year, a lot of the players overlooked the format, didn't really consider it. Although you could win by securing perfects and greats, a lot of the players felt like it wasn't really realistic or, possible. However, as the tournament unfolded, we started to see a lot of big matchups kind of turn. And not only that, even though the actual rule didn't come into play that many times, it was really about the potential of losing perfects and greats. When somebody were to get two, a combination of two, and where it's just one perfect or great away from winning, that's when you really started to see a player changing the way they play, changing their strategy to better suit the style and the format. So, in many ways, it's really affected. It really affected the play styles last year a lot. This year, now that we've got the same format returning, and it's something that you have that much longer to think about, I think it will provide advantages to a player if they were to kind of sit there and think about different ways that they can deviate from the normal way that they play just to secure a perfect or just to secure a great. I think it's worth it for sure, especially with the rules kind of being there to provide, maybe an underdog with an opportunity to beat a more known favorite player. Tekken is already a game where you have to really sit and think about your strategy and think about your different options and everything like that. So now that there are rules in place where you can win a whole set via untraditional methods, definitely it's worth it to kind of change the way that you play before you're forced to, you know, if you know what I mean by that. Yeah, before you're forced to by the other opponent potentially beating you. You might be the one to look to secure the perfects and greats yourself.
Thank you, fascinating. You've been playing Tekken and competing for quite a long time now with Tekken 7. Looking back, what's your overall opinion on the game? Do you look fondly at it, or do you think that something could and should have been better?
I think the game was great. Hard to find a lot of things that you really gets on my nerves. At least I know a lot of the people that play this game might have like one or two things that they don't like, but honestly, I enjoyed every single bit of it. From the moment they raised drive, when they added rage art before rage drives, then they added rage drives, and not to mention the little things like slow motion and the zoom in effects that make it really easier to tell when certain things are happening. I feel like as someone that's been playing Tekken for a long time, a lot of problems with the game kind of remained unchanged for a long time, like being boring to watch for a lot of people, difficult to learn, punishment and everything like that, and just throw breaking is hard. A lot of things people kind of critiqued over the years. Tekken 7 took an attempt to change that, making a lot of things easier for newer players, easier combos and stuff like that, and that just made it so that it was much easier to become a Tekken fan, to become a Tekken player. Before Tekken 7, it's a little bit more difficult. You have to really commit a lot of time and effort into the littlest things. But Tekken 7 did a lot of things to help players transition from just being like a day one complete button masher to someone who plays the game a little bit more serious, and that helped a lot of things. It's like a slow process. So more players, more casual players turns into more competitive players. More competitive players turns into bigger tournaments, and big tournaments leads to the big prize pools, the big sponsors, and everything. That's what all of the Tekken fans want for the game. So when they think back and they're complaining about guest characters and stuff, I'm going to be the guy that's sitting there talking about how much the guest characters brought in. How many fans that the guest characters were able to bring into the game and help grow the scene. The guest characters may not be there forever. So those fans that took the time to learn the game through the guest characters are still going to be Tekken fans and Tekken players. They'll just go and play another character. So I think there's more good done than bad when it comes to hot topics of the game, like adding a lot of aggressive features like the wall bounce and the wall mechanics. And now with Tekken 8's heat mechanic, a lot of people are worried that the game is being too aggressive. There's too much focus on being aggressive in the game, but that's kind of what makes it hype in the first place, So yeah, it's all about how you look at it.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good something that I wanted to touch upon, the hit mechanic and the game upcoming game being supposedly too aggressive. Do you think that fits your playstyle, or do you think it makes it harder for you to compete?
Honestly, it's not really something that I thought about at first glance. First impressions is that I feel like I'm known to be a more aggressive player. I like to bully my opponents. So when they introduce all these things that encourage players to be more aggressive, I felt like that would actually play out in my favor. But at the same time, I always like to reserve judgment, not to get too ahead of myself and everything. Is important when a new game comes out. So that way you can keep an open mind and kind of adapt to what you think is best. So, while I think that all the signs point to things working out for me, I'll be cautiously optimistic just because I know there's going to be more to it than just, if you're more aggressive, you'll do good. There's a lot more strategy to it than people think. That's always the case with Tekken. So when the game comes out, definitely I'll be looking to other players, like the more intellectual guys, the guys that like to pick apart the game and figure it out slowly. I'll look to those guys to learn as much as I can from them. They're always in the teaching mood. So I've been more of the pick up and play and use your instincts kind of guy. So once I get the information from them, I'll be able to apply my Tekken knowledge and my instincts and really create that style that I want to bring for the new game.
Very, very nice. Thank you. It was probably obvious, but we already know that Jack will be in Tekken 8. Do you have any sort of wish list for a character, or maybe some things you'd like to be added or removed from him?
No, I don't really have a wish list. Honestly, when it comes to my character, I feel like whenever they change Jack, whatever they add, they end up being things that I really enjoy. It's almost as if somebody's watching me play on the development team, and they're like getting ideas from the things that I do. What to change, and it's kind of like whenever they make the changes, it's like, wow, thanks. Like it's like they're looking out for me, and so I'm already pretty excited that with just like 5, 6, 7 characters announced currently, that's a very low number for Tekken. Already, I've got my main character in the game, and that's something that I wondered for a little bit. If my main character was going to be in the game, and it feels nice to know that I won't have to really stress over that, for a while. And besides that, I'm really liking the way that he looks. The whole redesign thing, Jack has kind of looked the same aesthetically for almost 20 years now, since 2005 when they made Jack 5. It kind of has looked just about the same since then, and this guy comes completely redesigned, very futuristic looking, and it's always really cool when any character, not to mention your main character, gets a complete makeover. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of other upgrades they brought to Jack 8 in the new game. Definitely looks like he's like a new advanced machinery.
Yeah, the future is now, old man, kind of thing. You're consistently one of the few USA players to represent the country on a global stage. How do you feel about so many people rooting for you to take the first place?
It feels great to have so many people support me wherever I'm traveling. It feels really nice to just have supporters, have people giving me words of encouragement. Definitely puts a lot more motivation, but at the same time kind of makes you a little bit more sad when you fail to reach that first place, just because you know that a lot of people were kind of cheering for you, kind of feels like you're letting them down. That always is going to suck. But I'm always grateful and humbled by all the support that I get from people all over the world. It's really, really cool that people enjoy my games, first of all, because I really do try to be entertaining, as entertaining as possible, and to just be straight up super aggressive and provide really, really fun fights, fun matches. And yeah, as long as I can like continue to hear positive words from people on, you know, me potentially being the reason they picked up the game, or them watching a match that was so exciting that they picked up the game. Little things like that really make it easy for me to just have motivation to play this game. This game's been out for a long time, and for a lot of people, they don't enjoy the game anymore for whatever reason. They don't have motivation, but I've always enjoyed it. I think it's partially because I've played this game ever since I was a kid, and many, many, many years later, not much has changed. I'm still kind of playing it as if I was still a kid, still enjoying it very much so. And I don't think that'll change no matter how big the game gets. I'll still feel like the little kid at the arcade playing with trying to just beat the big dogs. There's always somebody I look up to in this game. Even now that I'm a professional player, there are still some players that are on my list that I like very much to defeat. Some of them, let's
Nice.
jump.
Yeah. You said it right. Like, it's not only the US. Like, I live in Eastern Europe, and I've been your fan for 8 years already. So, like,
Appreciate
it's very good to have support. When you spoke in 2022, you confirmed that you still have fire burning inside of you, that you still strive to win both Evo and Tekken World Tour. Didn't quite happen this time, but you weren't far off either. Would you consider 2022 to be an overall successful year for you, or not?
No, if I were to be completely honest, when comparing results and talking about results, I feel like 2022 was a step backwards from the last year where we had like a full year. I consider that to be 2019. So like 2019 was the last time before the pandemic, and 2022 was like the first full year of traveling around the world and competing. And to be honest, when we talk about those tournaments that you listed, the World Tour Finals and Evo, I did much worse at both those tournaments than I did in 2019. And it really hurts to lose those two specifically. It hurts to lose every single tournament to where I kind of want to just disappear for a while. But I felt that much more so this time around because not only at Amsterdam, but at Evo, I felt like I had really, really good opportunities to not only do well, but to really win these tournaments. I always come to the big competitions with a lot of confidence and knowing that if I play really, really well, if I play my best, then I think I can definitely win any tournament. And just at Evo, there were golden opportunities to go really, really far. And when I make it far, like, sky's the limit. Anything could happen. So I feel like I threw away those opportunities over little small mistakes. I hate making excuses, so I don't want to sit here and just talk about why I lost. But yeah, it really, really sucked. And I don't think that I would consider it a success by my standards, which is why coming into this year, it potentially being the last year for Tekken 7 on, at tournaments, at major tournaments, really, 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 really want to make the most of it and put in a good effort for these tournaments. They're very important to me. Um, you know, I may look really relaxed and chill or whatever, but it's something that's very important to me. Hopefully I can get the job done this year.
Looking forward to seeing you compete, man. Capcom ups the ante with their prize pool announcement for the upcoming season. What response would you like to see from Tekken World Tour? Just a bigger prize pool, or maybe like some changes to the last chance qualifier format?
Hmm. Changes to the format, hard to say for sure, because I think when it comes to the tour, the LCQ is one of the most hyped parts about our World Tour Finals. Having that one last chance with the one participant going through. We had three participants going through this year, which made it more exciting, I think. And then going into the World Finals, with that being round robin and everything, I think we got a good thing going as far as format goes. And in terms of prize pool, I know that when the 2 million for Street Fighter 6 got really announced, it really got everybody talking, really everybody really excited about the potential for their own game having a prize pool boom. It's the new wave of fighting games, the first fighting games to come out for the new consoles, like for PS5, for the new Xbox Series or whatever. So the games are going to be bigger. They're going to be better. They're going to be better than ever. And I think that we don't necessarily. It doesn't necessarily mean that the players on the Tekken side are expecting millions of dollars from Tekken, but at the same time, we do want things to move forward, things to be better than they were last year. That's what it's all about. If Tekken 8 took a step backward, that would be kind of like a huge fail, in my opinion. So only just kind of wanted things to grow at this point, and that includes the prize pools, the opportunities, and everything. I think that's going to be kind of a given, though. You know what I mean? Like, no need to talk about it. Just wait and see what happens, and be optimistic about it. But yeah, I don't see why Tekken 8 wouldn't up the stakes, up the ante when it comes to things like that. It just makes sense. You know what I mean? We'll just see what happens. We'll just wait and see.
Thank you. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is featured as a throwback game at the upcoming EVO. As someone with a long history of competing, which older Tekken game would you choose for a throwback tournament like that?
Oh man, Marvel 3 was great. I remember being a huge fan when that game was in its prime, so it was good to see that back at EVO. But as far as other throwback games, particularly Tekken titles that could return at EVO, I think the two that are most suited would be Tekken Tag Tournament 1. That was really an iconic game in the Tekken franchise, where even after the sequel came out, Tekken 4, and it was being played at tournaments, there was still actually Tekken Tag tournaments being held, Tekken Tag 1 tournaments being held on the side, or even alongside Tekken 4 as a main game, because the two games were so different from one another that Tekken Tag was still getting a lot of playtime at tournaments even after its sequel had already come out. So that was a game that really stood out to me as being one of the more iconic games. And then the next one for me would be Tekken 5 DR. I just remember being like a young teenager traveling out of state for the first time, playing at the arcade every single day after school, things like that. Played a big role in my childhood and just growing up, being at the arcade every day. A lot of great memories as a teenager in the arcade. Finally getting over certain player obstacles, like being the best in my city or being top ranked in my city at a young age. Those are some good memories. And I think all over the world, a lot of people really enjoyed Tekken 5 DR. That was when the game was kind of like at its peak in terms of the rivalry and the trash talking. And as a kid, those things were really, really exciting to me. So it'd be nice to bring out some of those old heads that talked all the trash back in the day, just to have them play at EVO one more time. That'd be fun. A lot of my childhood Tekken heroes during those days.
Yeah, it sounds like many of the current pros are nostalgic about Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection, even more so than Tekken 3. It's interesting if the next Tekken will have some pros that started at Tekken 7. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Some kids that will beat everyone, right?
Yeah, it's scary, man. The kids are scary because they have no fear.
Yeah. What should we expect from Anakin in 2023?
Oh, you should expect very, very motivated. I always say it all the time, but I really do mean it this time. That I really like to put in a good year, like the best year of Tekken 7 yet, because like I said, it is the last one. I really, really enjoyed this game, and it's only fair to do it justice by training really hard and kind of playing the best Tekken that I've played since the game came out. I had a really good year in 2019, like I said, so much that it was hard to kind of produce those results again last year, but I definitely think it's possible. I feel like every year I'm getting better, and the best is yet to come. So if I if I make good on my word and I keep my promise, then you should definitely see me at a lot of podiums, a lot of top eights, a lot of first place finishes, and we'll see what happens when it comes time to compete for those world titles. Namely EVO and the TWT finals, wherever that may be. That's what I've got my sights set on, and along the way, I'll be winning as many tournaments as I can, starting with this weekend at Golden Letters.
Thank you. Anything that you would like to tell your fans as a parting words?
It's been a great journey, Tekken 7, but it's only beginning. Tekken 8 is on the horizon, so I'll be around, of course, whether it be playing in tournaments, streaming, throwing tournaments. I did a lot in Tekken 7, and I'm going to continue to do that in Tekken 8. So, yeah, I don't know. It's an exciting time right now, so definitely looking forward to spending it all with everybody.
Thank you so much. Wishing you all the best in 2023. Personally, as your fan, I'd love to see you holding that Evo trophy. That'd be great. Thank you
Amazing.
so much, and best of luck to you. Goodbye.
Appreciate it. Try our best. Thank you.